अमरीकी रियासत हवाई की जंगलात में आग से हलाक अफराद की तादाद 53 हो गई है। आग से 1000 से ज़ायद मकानात और इमारतें मुकम्मल जल गई हैं। तूफ़ानी हवाओं की वजह से आग बुझाने में शदीद मुश्किलात के सबब तबाही ना रोकी जा सकी। जंगलात में लगी आग से तारीखी सियाहती मकाम लेहाइना जलकर तबाह हो गया है। अमरीकी सदर बाइडन ने हवाई की जंगलात में आग को बड़ा सानहा करार दे दिया है। और इसी पर बात करने के लिए हमने रब्ता किया है डॉक्टर एमिली पेरी से, जो कि क्लाइमेट साइंस के हवाले से एक एक्सपर्ट हैं। Thank you, Emily Perry, doctor, to give us some time to talk about it. Can you just tell us, Joe Biden, to talk on the latest situation, we are joined by Dr. Emily Perry, who is a resident of Hawaii and expert on climate science. Doctor, how do you see how far this area is affected with the fire, and what is the reason of this fire?
Thank you very much for having me on today. And we don't have the full understanding of the extent of the fires, and many of the fires are still going. And so it's going to be taking several weeks after this point to have a clear understanding of the lives that have been lost, the impact on ecosystems, the lost history, the lost buildings. But we already know that this is a deep, deep wound that will be taking generations to recover from. The causes, we understand that we know that hurricanes are linked to climate change. We know that the deforestation and the lack of regular rainfall have created a high vulnerability on the islands, as we see particularly on Maui and the Big Island right now. And so you have high winds, you have down power lines, you have sparks, and then you have wildfires. And there is no safe place for us to go. We have to deal with how we have impacted our local and our Earth ecosystem, and we need to be working to protect each other as we recover in a way that is regenerative in our systems, that cares for whole ecosystems and the human beings, and that has smarter early warning systems and communication and disaster risk management and planning in every community, so that we do not see this kind of pain and loss that truly is unnecessary and could have been avoided.
Dr. Emily, is Native people are also affected by this fire?
Yes, and we can see, as in any case, the majority of indigenous peoples here on Hawaii have been marginalized and experience higher levels of poverty and access, and that also means that they find themselves more vulnerable to impacts of this fire. Many people rent. There's also a higher houseless and homeless population, and they're going to be finding themselves without the insurance, without the state and government support to help them come through the recovery. So we see then compounded vulnerability when what we need to be doing is giving support to the capacities of indigenous peoples here.
Dr. Emily, President Joe Biden has called it a major disaster, and Lahaina was a big tourist spot, and we could see that it has been completely burned out and completely deserted. So don't you think that it will take a lot of time to rebuild it, and it will never be back to its original shape?
Well, absolutely, this is a high-level disaster. My concern is if the building back is going to be focused on a tourist economy alone, what we will see is that there will be a focus on a few people who will be making more money and having better access, so that might be recovered for them. But the overall ecosystem and the overall community, unless there is an investment in climate smart, right livelihoods for local communities and island food systems and island markets, then the recovery there we will not see happen at all. And that is a major concern. Yes, visitors are welcome. Yes, visitors are appreciated. But the economies here have to be thinking about climate resilience and well-being for the local people.
expert on climate science, Dr. Emily Perry. Thank you very much.